Today we are finally having a closer look at the Grand Seiko White Birch.
Atelier DE GRIFF.
A lot has been said and written about this watch to date, and most of the attention has gone to the dial. A little bit odd in my opinion, because it is what sits under the dial that impresses me most. This watch has been hailed the new Snowflake and is often compared to the Snowflake as a result. Now, quite frankly, I have no idea where that is coming from. The Snowflake has a softly textured white dial, very subtle in nature. The Birch instead has a deeply textured, almost metallic looking dial. So the Snowflake has a warm look to it, whereas the Birch has a cold look to it. The hands then are different as well, with the Birch having a slightly sportier looking handset than the Snowflake. Now I hear you thinking, it must be the same case then. Well, no my friend, it is not. The Birch is in fact smaller and thinner. The design of the case is also quite different, with the most obvious difference being that broader brushed bezel, which you can see here on the Birch. Now the Snowflake's case has a smoother look and feel, so the case of the White Birch instead has more pronounced lines, again giving it a bit of a sportier look in my opinion. Now you say it must be the same movement then? Well, no sir, the Snowflake has a spring drive movement and the White Birch houses a next generation high beat movement. Both very impressive movements, but also very different in nature. So, well, it must be the metal then? Well, nay, the Snowflake is titanium and the Birch is stainless steel. So as a result, the Snowflake is of course light as a snowflake and the Birch is, well, not heavy, but heavier than a snowflake. I guess the one resemblance that there is would be the bracelet. I am aware that the Birch's bracelet is a bit wider and has slightly different polishing choices, uses screws instead of the pin and collar system, but roughly speaking they have the same look going for them. Now, I guess you noticed by now, this is no Snowflake. No, the White Birch is quite different. The Snowflake is a fantastic piece in Grand Seiko's collection, and yes, spoiler alert, so is this one right here. The White Birch is a nice all-round, versatile and sporty looking watch. It has excellent proportions that should work for most, with a 47-ish millimeter lug-to-lug and a 40 millimeter diameter. The 22mm bracelet that tapers down to the 20mm clasp also adds further to that sporty look. Now, I would urge any interested buyers to check these out in the metal, at least if you can find one in a store near you. The dial is something to be judged in real life. This is a type of dial that does not translate well to the screen. I was personally expecting this dial to look quite a bit different based on the pictures and videos I had seen before finally catching this in the wild. Now the dial has that metallic sheen to it, and the deep grooves in the dial really give it a unique character. It is certainly not a subtle dial either. I can perfectly imagine some people absolutely loving this dial, whereas others wanting to stay at least 6 feet away from it. The White Birch is also quite special to look at from that other angle, so you get a nice look at the spectacular 9SA5 movement. It's not only a very capable movement, so beating at 36,000 beats per hour with an 80-hour power reserve, but it's also a very good looking movement architecture, and you can see why these watches are priced the way they are. Overall, the White Birch is another excellent addition to the ever-growing Grand Seiko collection. But please don't call it the next Snowflake, it really is nothing like it, and both can live in perfect harmony.